Welcome everybody to this edition of Attention Talk Video. I'm your host, ADHD and Attention Coach Jeff Copper. And today I want to share an insight and hopefully create some awareness. My question to you are you open-minded or emotionally minded? Think about that. Open-minded is when you are really open to more objective information, more it is what it is, kind of how it is. If you're more emotionally minded, those emotions really impact your thought process. This video was really born out of the individual that I was coaching because over a period of time, and by the way, my coaching philosophy is when somebody comes to me, what I do typically is try to help them understand first how they work, like how do they think, how do they create content, how do they go about things. That's the how part. Then I spend some time to try to figure out what their passion is. Those things that they can always pay attention to, the things that they can never pay attention to, then I try to help them understand what they're talented at, where they perform. And then what I do is for some that's great, they figure that stuff out and they do it. Others that are more emotional and they're not able to implement what we've learned to work. And then we go back and we have to talk about the emotional side, but have you pause and override the emotional side or the automatic brain and actually implement what we've learned to work. And so I'm working with this guy that I've been coaching for a period of time, and I've got a laundry list. I mean, I've sent it to him a dozen times about evidence of what we've proved that works all the time. And all the time when I would say, well, what have you learned about yourself? He would always go to feeling. And we began to have a discussion about it, and he himself said, well, I guess I'm really emotionally minded, not open-minded, because the emotion of the past really drives the answers, and it was really getting in the way because he's not open-minded or aware enough to see what we have proven that works for him. And it was fascinating to him because when he began to acknowledge that he was emotionally minded, that was a distinction that he had never had before. And ever so slowly he catches himself, oh, I'm emotionally minded, I need to be open-minded. I need to stop and pause and look at what works for me. In real simple terms, this individual emotionally felt that they were just supposed to do things, but we had proof that they did stuff all the time when they were working in groups, and the work was being done in a group. Not a meeting where you go and you figure out what you're supposed to do by yourself, but you do the work while you're working in a group. It was like flawless. And the emotional minded that he had to do it himself clouded out the open-minded of realizing and looking at the data that we had that was crystal clear that it worked for him 100% of the time. The idea was to get him to pause and override the automatic brain, use the executive functioning brain, and actually go implement, set up meetings and stuff where he would do work in those particular meetings. So, in summary, the question is, are you open-minded or are you emotionally minded? If you're emotionally minded, those emotions are, they manifest a lot of time in automatic behavior and belief in other systems, and they shut you down to really kind of often what works. We've done a lot of videos on obvious solutions that are not so obvious, and I find that open-minded really kind of helps you notice that. Again, just a little tip. I hope this gives you pause to thought. For you that are more emotional, hopefully this will resonate with you, and it'll give you a way to step out of the emotion and try to get into the objective side and open your mind. I'm very looking forward to your comments on this, and for those that are new, please subscribe to our channel. We release new tips and insights once a week designed to help those with ADHD actually implement what they need to, not just talk about outcomes. With that, we hope you've enjoyed this edition of Attention Talk Video. Take care.